All right, so January has come to a close, and I thought it would be fun to start doing this every month, kind of giving you guys a quick recap of everything that I watched and reviewed for the channel, and give you a kind of quick fire little uh, reviews and thoughts on them and whatnot. Mostly just as quick as I can be with it, so that you guys, some of you can't keep up with all of the videos. Obviously, I haven't been putting out as many, and I've been trying to condense them into like triple features and whatnot. But I think this is even a better way to condense them for someone who doesn't have a lot of time. So a monthly roundup seemed fitting. And yeah, month one is done. January is already gone. How is that possible? I don't know. But here we are in February. And we got a lot of films that came out. This is probably the strongest January of like big releases I've ever seen for horror. Now, I watched a ton of films this month for sure, both in the horror genre and outside of it. Obviously, all I will be talking about in this video will be the 2026 January watches. No other films that I watched that fall outside of that category. So, all right. We got 16 films here. Now, I did end up watching 18 2026 releases, but I'm just have like a tiny bit left of one of them, so I can't give my thoughts on that one yet. And that's He's Watching You, so that will be coming soon and will be added to the February watches, since I will be finishing it in February. And then I also got a screener for the movie Blood Barn, which is under embargo, so I can't give you my thoughts on it yet. But we are going to do it this way for this video. We'll see how this works, and if it works, then I'll continue to keep doing it this way. I'm going to do it in order from worst to best. It's going to be based off of the Letterboxd rating that I gave each of them. So I'm not going to order any of the numbers that are together. Like if it's a 3, then all the 3s will go together. I don't know. You can pick whatever one you want to be my favorite of those in the 3 rating. But so we don't have, the way that this will go is this. As far as Letterboxd for me, I see it like this, and I'm not going to do this every time, so this is going to be the longer form one. Hopefully in February we can just get to the list instantaneously and move on. But to just kind of explain it for this, since this is the first time I'm doing it, the way I see my Letterboxd ratings is this. So a half star is absolute trash, nothing good to say about it in any way, shape, or form. It is a very rare rating. I almost never give it. I might give out 1, maybe 2 a year at best, but typically only about 1. Because no film, for the most part, has 0 good things to say about it. Then a 1 star would be something like, it's absolute garbage, without question, but maybe it had one thing about it that I was like, well, this was there, this was okay-ish. That's usually like a 1. Then a 1.5 is like pretty terrible, but there was a couple things. There was like more than one that I was like, okay, like I thought that this part was cool and it had this going for it, but no. Then a 2 would be like, it's still bad, but it's not atrociously terrible. It's just kind of like under the bar of generic. Like it didn't really hit that middle ground, but it's also not like complete trash. Then you get into the 2.5s, and the 2.5s are not recommendations. They're just kind of like middle of the road, very generic, very basic films that I just forgot 10 seconds after I finished them. Then we move into the 3s, and this is when I get into the recommendation side of things, where like a 3 is like it was better than okay. Like it was watchable, it was good, I enjoyed it enough to recommend it to you. It's a soft recommendation, I guess, is what a 3 would be for me. Then a 3.5 would be like, yeah, this was actually pretty good. This is pretty good. This is probably a one-time watch, but this is a stronger recommendation, right? That's where I'm at, like at a 3.5. Then a 4 is like this is a very strong recommendation. I really thought it was great. I really think this is a solid film for sure and needs to be checked out. Then a 4.5 for me would be like amazing, like fantastic, has a huge shot of being in my top 10 of the year. That's like, it's excellent all around. I might have had a couple issues with it, but for the most part, I thought it was phenomenal. Like, holy shit, this movie rules. And then a 5, much like the half star ratings, are like pretty rare. I don't give them out much. Last year I gave out 6 of them, which is I think is the most I've ever given out in one genre. But last year just had so many films I considered that good. But they're like perfect. They're like masterpieces basically to me, and I'm just like, I cannot find any fault in them at all. So that's how the ratings go. Hopefully I can just point you to this video from in the future and be like, if you want to know how my ratings work, there's the video for it. Let's get into it. So, good news, I don't have any half stars and I don't have any 1-star reviews. I have high hopes that I will not watch a single half star or 1-star movie. I really wish that I didn't have to watch anything below a 3-star. 3 stars are fine. I'm like, if I watch those, I'm totally fine with that. Anything under that, I'm like, I really wish I wouldn't have bothered. But it can't be helped sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta give, films a shot, especially if they look good. And my first film here, which is the only 1.5 star I gave out this whole month and thus far this whole year, is a really disappointing one. And this is Night Patrol with Justin Long. I thought this was terrible. There's a couple good aspects of it, as I had said, right? Like, I like a couple things about it, but for the most part, God, I thought this movie was absolute trash. I really was shocked by how bad I thought this was. And I saw this in theaters. And a 1.5 star in theaters to me is kind of appalling. It's like, how does a 1.5 star? But, of course, this is my opinion. There's plenty of people who probably gave it like a 5 star. So it's in the theater for them. It just didn't work for me. I really didn't like it at all. Every one of these obviously is going to have a review, except for one of them, which I have yet to review. I'll get to that. Maybe I'm going to do it in like a triple review soon, but you're going to get a sneak preview of what I thought about it, like a real quick one anyways, and that's probably some of you will even need. All right, a 2-star here, only one. So out of 16 films, I only have 4 films that I will not be recommending. But for right now, let's do the only 2-star, and this was Tubi's Death Name. This was pretty bad all around. There was a couple things that were like fine. They were like, okay, that was all right, whatever. But for the most part, another really bad film. And I wanted to like it. Like, there were certain things that I was kind of going with it. And that's another thing. That's probably like why a 2-star happens here, is like, I was kind of liking little aspects about it. I was rooting for it. And then it just did not deliver on absolutely anything. And it just pulled it down to a 2-star. All right. Moving into 2.5 stars. This is the generic films that really didn't sway me one way or the other. They're not bad films. They're just either like films that didn't vibe with me, or I just didn't think were working, doing what they were setting out to do. The first one here, this is a big disappointment, and this is definitely one where I'm going to differ from a lot of people, because there is a big fan base for this movie, and this, of course, is Iron Lung. God, I really wanted to love this film. And I thought about giving it a 3, but like, that wouldn't be fair, because that's not how I felt. I felt completely lost. I didn't like my experience with it. I was bored a lot, right? Like, I think that he was successful in a lot of ways with this movie, but anyway, you can check out a review on it. Iron Lung, it was a pretty big disappointment for me, since I was really pulling for this guy to make something, a video game adaptation that I would gravitate to, even if I don't know anything about the source material or the filmmaker himself. So, yeah. Next up is the one I have not yet reviewed on the channel, and this honestly is more of like a drama. They're kind of promoting the poster and whatnot as horror, but this movie's called Grizzly Night with Breck Basinger, and yeah, this is just pretty melodramatic. There's actually a pretty devastating scene in this that I wasn't expecting, and I was like, damn, that's hard. And this is a true story and a kind of a fascinating one, but it ultimately kind of led to what happened in Jaws, essentially. This true story ended up getting a lot of grizzly bears killed, like lots and lots of them. There was like an aggressive hunting campaign after this incident took place, and it is a pretty fascinating story because it is something that never happens. But I didn't care for how it was done. I felt like it was pretty bland and generic and kind of cheap, and it just a story like this where real people died. I don't know. I feel like you can just do better than this. So this is a pretty lame one. All right, moving into the threes. Here is where everything is either a slight recommendation or so on. So our first one here being Whistle. Yeah, I like this movie. It had a really good kill in it. It's pretty generic overall. Like, it really is kind of a hodgepodge, almost AI type of script where it's taking elements from Final Destination and, Countdown and other movies and just kind of smashing them all together. And you've seen everything in this movie before and whatnot. But I don't know. It was watchable. It had some cool stuff. And it leaves off with a cool cliffhanger that I'm like, okay, I'd watch another. So, yeah, I think it's good. It's in theaters February 6th. So... this one isn't even out for you guys yet. I got to see it early, but yeah. I'm not under embargo for that one, so I can talk about it. All right, next up is Savage Flowers. This also is a 3. This one had a lot going for it. It looked really good. The performances were solid. I enjoyed aspects about it for sure. Unfortunately, it just didn't really land a lot of what it was going for. The world building was lacking. I don't think that it fully realized its concept. It was a much better version of that movie Please Don't Feed the Children, made by Destry Allen Spielberg. Is that her first and middle name? I forget. Whatever. Steven Spielberg's daughter. Yeah, I just... It let me down in some places, but it was still good enough to do a recommendation for. All right, next up, this was probably my most disappointing movie of the year thus far. This is Return to Silent Hill. It's a 3. I had it as a 3.5 for a little while, and I was like, that's not right. That's not right. This is a 3 at best. Honestly, could even see this going down to like a 2.5 upon rewatch. But after having played the game and got all hyped for it, and there are aspects about it that I quite enjoyed. It's a real light recommendation, only for Silent Hill fans, but I still think a lot of them are going to be disappointed. So as I said, a very, very light recommendation. There's just so many glaring problems with this film. This film has so many issues. I honestly, I feel like the only reason it's even at a 3 at this point is because of how much I wanted it to work, and maybe I'm just looking past a lot of its obvious problems, even though I am acknowledging them, and I was able to appreciate some visuals and some scenes, and there's some cool stuff going on in here, and I want to rewatch it when it comes out for home release. But man, there is some disappointing shit in this film. Okay, moving into the 3.5s. Now we're getting into stuff where I'm like, okay, I'm definitely more confident to recommend these movies. And the first one being P77. This is a Southeast Asian horror film that is about a girl who takes a job cleaning up a penthouse, and then she's dealing with some past traumas and seeing things in the house, kind of a haunted house kind of thing. This was quite good. I enjoyed this. This actually had some really creepy visuals that I was really digging, and I think this is actually a pretty sad movie, and I think that the lead does a good job conveying those emotions of both scared and devastated. So yeah, I thought this was cool, and I'm glad I checked it out. So moving on to the next one. This one is more of a comedy thriller starring Jason Biggs. This is Untitled Home Invasion Romance. That's a mouthful for sure. This is definitely one of those like anything that can go wrong, can will go wrong, or like the best laid plans kind of thing. Yeah, this was fun. It definitely did not succeed in all of the areas that it tried to, and some of the things didn't pay off, but there was fun to be had. There was some funny moments. There was definitely some big surprises and twists that I was not seeing coming. So good on them for that. I was like, oh, we're going in this direction with this. Not what I expected from this movie at all. Cool. All right. So yeah, it was cool, and I didn't really hear anybody talking about it. All right, next up we got another horror comedy. Here's some more comedy for you. And this one I had a really good time with. This is Vampires, Zombies from Space. A throwback, bad B-50s monster movie about vampires that come from space and turn people into zombies, and a lot of like innuendo style jokes and play on words type stuff. There's some good gore here and there. There's some really funny lines. Yeah, I dug it, and I definitely recommend it for anyone who's into like parody movies. All right, lastly here in the 3.5s, I had this at a 4 for a little while, but the more I thought on it, the more I was like, I think a 3.5 fits better, and this is Primate. A little bit of a disappointment for me. I didn't really have huge high hopes for it, but yeah, the kills were not what people were making them out to be. There's good kills, don't get me wrong. There are a couple, but the movie is extremely like generic in a lot of ways, and it really just kind of like stalls out a bit because you have people kind of trapped in a pool for a long extended period of time, and they're making such dumb decisions right and left, and there's certain things where you have to just go, okay, movie logic, I don't know how this thing happened, but whatever. It's still a good time. It's still a good kind of slasher-esque movie. It's just realistically, I think 3.5 is fair. And I actually, one thing I've actually really enjoyed about making this list is kind of reevaluating my scores early. Usually I don't do that till the end of the year, and then I usually don't end up changing much of anything because I'm like, I saw that 9 months ago, right? Like I don't remember exactly. I'll just go off of what this says. So reevaluating them more recently like this is kind of good for scores where I can be like, yeah, you know what? I think I came out of the theater and was a little higher on that than I should have been. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I'm adjusting some of these. All right, next up we got 4 films in the 4-star category. This is where I'm thinking they're great. These are like hard recommendations. They're not going to make my top 10, but they're damn good. They're damn good. They will be, easily, I will easily remember them by the end of the year, and for years to come. I'll be like, oh yeah, that was great. I really enjoyed the hell out of that one. So first one here being Send Help by Sam Raimi. Rachel McAdams, Dylan O'Brien, super fun, twisty movie with a great performance. Rachel McAdams steals the show. Super fucking fun. Had such a good time with it. There's some silliness in this movie. There's some really over the top crazy shit, and it's just a damn good time overall. And this is one I could see going up on a rewatch. I don't. It's not a top 10 of the year type of film, but I still really enjoyed the hell out of it. Same with all of these, obviously. Everything in the 4 stars, I'm going to be able to easily say that about. Moving on next to We Bury the Dead with Daisy Ridley. Very, very cool zombie film. Always love to see unique zombie takes. I will always appreciate taking the subgenre and kind of flipping it on its head, reinventing it, thinking about it, and coming up with a deep message as well. I know some people roll their eyes at that kind of shit. They just want their horror to be lean, mean, straightforward, no agenda, no message, no, deeper meanings to them. But I'm definitely not one of those people. I can do both. I like really simple horror films, and I like really deep, complex horror films. And I thought that this one had a lot to say, and I thought it was pretty poignant, and I thought that the message really landed for me. So, yeah, We Bury the Dead. Awesome. Next up, The Plague, which I saw same day, double feature. Another 4-star. This was a really damn good day at the theater, and this was day one. This was January 1st, 1 month ago today. This was the first 2 movies out the gate, and both of them were 4 stars. What a way to start this month. Great stuff. One of the best takes on bullying I've seen in a film. I was really, really impressed with the acting in this. I thought that there's a lot to take away from this one. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot to talk about. And definitely the best children performances I've seen all year. And is going to be a strong contender for like best kid acting I've seen in a little while. So, yeah, really, really good stuff. And definitely one that needs... And this is another one. It's like, oh, like... These are all those ones that are like, you almost want to give them 4.5s because you're like, these are so solid. Like The Plague especially, where you're like, oh man, shouldn't this be like maybe a 4.5 because it's so damn good. It has so much to say. And maybe on a next viewing, I'll be like, yeah, you know what, I'm bringing this up to a 4.5. Okay, last one here in the 4s. I actually had this at a 4.5, but I think I was being a little too generous. Like this isn't going to make my top 10. But I did love it, and I will say I have a bias because of the filmmakers for sure. I love them, and I love what they do. The Addams Family makes these really cool films that I always respect the hell out of, and they made a new movie this year called Mother of Flies. I know that this is the type of film that's going to split audiences. I know this is the kind of movie that has a lot of people being like, no, this is not good, or like the acting is amateur and the dialogue and whatever, but there's something just so inspiring about this stuff, and I love the way they do certain things, and there's so many positives here for me, and and as I said, I have a bias because I just love what they do. I love the family, I love the story, I love the like community like that goes along with this. There's a good love for this stuff and them as a family, and I don't know, I immerse myself in it when I watch it. So really good stuff. All right, we move into 4.5s here, and we only got one film, so this has a really, really high chance of making my top 10. But guys, I had like 40 films that got 4.5s or higher last year, so not for sure by any means. Obviously, like 30 films that were 4.5s did not make my top 10. So, but it has a damn good chance because this movie ruled. And of course, this was 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Yeah, I mean, freaking fantastic. So goddamn good. Definitely had a better reception than I expected. Honestly, I thought that this one would be much more split, but for the most part, I saw almost all positive, and I actually was pretty surprised by that. I thought that after the ending of part 1, or part 3, however you want to look at it, people would be like, no, I hated the end of part 1, so I'm not digging the vibe of this one, whatever. But I was wrong on that. This movie, for the most part, I mean, last I looked at it, it was 7.8 on IMDb, and I rarely see anyone saying anything negative about this movie. Unfortunately, as well as it was received, I was wrong on that. It did not make any money at the box office compared to what it was supposed to, and now, 28 years later, 3 is in serious jeopardy. And if that doesn't happen, damn, that would be devastating because of where part 2 leaves off or part 4 leaves off. You absolutely want to see where this goes. It sets it up. But I think they'll end up making it just because of where it leaves off, and that's the most easily marketable film. You'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie, but anyway, yeah, 4.5. Best movie of January for sure. No 5 stars yet. I only expect to get a couple this year, so only, you're probably only going to get one in a month if you're lucky. So no 5 stars yet, but we'll see. Maybe February will bring my first 5 star of the year. I hope so. I mean, shit. I hope every movie I watch in February is a 5 star. I ain't gonna happen, but it would be nice. Why not? So there you go. 16 films in order from lowest to highest. What did you guys watch? What were your ratings? Obviously, you can follow me on Letterboxd and get all of these ratings and check them out for yourself. And I update it all the time. I'm not that guy who hides my scores and tries to play it close to the vest like some reviewers who are like, you guys can't know where I put this stuff. Like, I don't really give a shit, man. This is just a YouTube channel. We're not doing anything serious here. So, Letterboxd has all these ratings, and whatnot. So there you go. Quick roundup, quick. If it wasn't for that opening, it would be quicker. So February will be quicker. I'll try to get through them so you guys can get in, get out, and kind of know what I watched this year. So there you go. Yeah, I'll see you in February. Bye, guys.